Top at 10, breaking news in the world of sports. There are reports of new calls for major investors to cut ties with the Washington Redskins over the team name. We'll have the latest. Plus, after weeks of protests against police brutality, many police departments are now struggling to hire new officers. We'll tell you how it's affecting our region. And
it's been more than a year since a woman was mistakenly attacked by a police dog.
Get him off!
Tonight, the agreement she says she's reached with the city.
But first, welcome in at 10 o'clock, Fox 5, following breaking news in the debate about the Redskins team name. Adweek reporting the team could potentially stand to lose out on millions. The report says investment firms and shareholders of major corporations are calling on those companies to cut ties with the Redskins unless the team changes its name. These are companies like Nike, FedEx, and Pepsi, which have hundreds of millions of dollars tied up with the Redskins and the NFL. Letters sent to the companies from 87 investment firms say they are not living up to their publicly stated opposition to racial injustice. As long as they're in a business relationship with the team, there is no response yet from the franchise. Meanwhile, the NFL is reportedly cutting its preseason in half, deciding to play only 2 games this season. The NFL plans to cancel weeks 1 and 4, which means every team will play 1 home and 1 away. That will mean some shifting for the Redskins since the team was originally set to host both home games those weeks. Training camp is still slated to start. It'll happen here on July 28th. Now, a story you'll see first on Fox 5. Police departments are seeing a major surge in officers looking to retire or make a job change over the protests we're seeing over police brutality. In fact, Montgomery County's police union says it is a big problem. Lindsay Watts standing by live in Gaithersburg with more on that and a proposal from a council member that could change how they're hired and paid. Lindsay.
Jim, when I heard about those concerns from the police union here, I went to talk to Councilmember Will Jawando, who has really spearheaded reform when it comes to police here in Montgomery County. And tonight, he let me know about a brand new proposal that he's working on that could bring even more change to county policing.
We have around 200 to 250 officers that can retire today.
The union for Montgomery County Police says there's growing concern about those officers deciding to leave as phone calls inquiring about retirement spike.
I may say we probably get 1 a month, and we've probably gotten upwards of 20 to 25 this month. So it's a real big uptick.
Officer Lee Holland is with the union. He says there are already a record low number of applicants to fill open spots.
And these people decide they're going to leave. We're not going to have the ability to replace these people.
Holland says officers aren't feeling a lot of community support right now, and there's uncertainty about changes proposed by County Council.
I just actually came from meeting with a group of officers who are concerned.
Councilman Will Jawando says he wants to reimagine police in the county. He's already proposed legislation that, among other things, changes the police deadly force standard from reasonable to necessary. He also championed a resolution to make racism a public health crisis. Now he's working on something new, a measure that could increase police training.
If you go to certain parts of the world, Denmark, Norway, certain parts of Europe, police are in school for 2 to 3 years. Here we do about 24 weeks.
He's also looking at hiring standards.
What are communication skills?
And paying officers more.
You know, we have one of the lowest pay for starting officers in the region, even though we're the wealthiest county. We want to make changes that are going to help police be more equipped and be compensated well and keep, protect, and serve in a way that does not discriminate and everyone feels safe.
Amid calls to defund the police, of course, higher pay, more training, that's going to cost more money. Jawando says if the county can move away from police responding to things like homelessness and mental illness, it would be possible to have potentially a smaller force that is more highly trained. Again, he says this is something that he has just started to work on. Back to you.
More than a year after a woman was mistakenly attacked by a Tacoma Park police canine, she tells Fox 5 she has reached a financial settlement with the city. Fox 5's Josh Rosenthal has been following the story since that incident occurred back in December of 2018. He is live tonight at the Tacoma Park D.C. border, where things stand now. Josh.
Marina, this all started when a woman named Ayanna Brooks came out to walk her dog right by this CVS, but there is no way she ever could have imagined what was about to happen next. It began with police looking for a stolen vehicle.
Which direction on Carroll are they going?
As well as 4 suspects who'd bailed out in Tacoma Park.
So you had one go that way?
Ayanna Brooks and her boyfriend Joseph Burrows were out walking their dog when, according to police reports, an officer's canine named Drogo broke free and latched onto Brooks.
Get him off! Drogo, off! Get him off! Get him off! What the f***?
This is how an officer described it that night.
Her dog just freaking took off and bit the citizen. Yeah, bit the out of the citizen.
Oh my God.
Well over a year since the incident and the injury and everything else that's come with it, including therapy, Brooks tells us she's reached an undisclosed financial settlement with Takoma Park.
I hope that, there comes a day where that will not happen to anybody else for any reason.
Takoma Park City Manager Suzanne Ludlow planned to address the incident at a virtual council meeting Wednesday night. In an email sent to Fox 5 ahead of time, she said the attack was investigated by officials in both Takoma Park and also D.C. because it happened just over the district border. She said it was accidental, that the investigations found some procedures and best practices were not followed, and that disciplinary action was taken. Ludlow added that the officer who was involved no longer works for the city and that the canine is no longer in service with the department. We'd hoped to sit down with officials to learn more, but Ludlow said that because everything has yet to be completed, right now, no one from the city can provide additional info.
Ultimately, what I would like to see happen, like in the future, be it, 5 years or 10 years from now, is that we are not using canines on people to attack them. There's cadaver sniffing, drug sniffing, bomb sniffing, applications in which the dogs and animals can still be useful, but I don't think that this antiquated practice should still be occurring in 2020. It's just kind of ridiculous to me.
The city would not confirm whether a financial settlement was reached with Brooks. Ludlow did say, however, that they are still evaluating whether a canine unit is appropriate for Takoma Park. Guys?
Meantime, some health experts in Maryland warning young people to be extra cautious as they head out to celebrate, especially if they're going to the beach for the holiday. Today, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said that while the state saw fewer new confirmed infections in June, the virus is beginning to spread rapidly among young people. The head of Montgomery County's health department says the spike is due to several reasons, including groups of young people who have gone to the beach and attended crowded events. Beach towns in our region getting ready for the 4th of July holiday, and this comes amid growing concerns about staggering rise of coronavirus cases, especially after we learned about lifeguards and restaurant workers in Delaware testing positive for the virus. Earlier tonight, we spoke with Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan. He says, be patient if you plan on heading to the beach this weekend.
Restaurants are only operating at 50% capacity. So we are asking our visitors to have a little bit of patience with the restaurants. As they have to wait a little bit. They're also short on help this year because we don't have J1 students. So that's really affected our workforce.
Meehan also says masks will be required if you go inside a restaurant, and social distancing rules will remain in effect. And as we talk about the beach, a live look tonight at the Ocean City Boardwalk. It is expected to be another beautiful day tomorrow, hopefully without the rain. Gary, how is that early holiday looking?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, the beaches look really good. It's going to start getting really hot here. The beaches will be, in some cases, maybe 10 degrees warmer, if not a little bit more than that at times. And I think while we have a chance for some hit or miss scattered thunderstorms coming up over this holiday weekend, it doesn't look terribly like anything's too organized, okay? So that's good news too. Speaking of thunderstorms, we still have a little bit of activity out there this evening. So Storm Tracker radar shows where we see a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit out there. Most of this still out over on the eastern shore, kind of creeping out into the bay a little bit, but we are all dry around here. Wasn't too active tonight, but we did have some scattered thunderstorms. Most of the activity stayed just to the east of D.C. We did have a little thunderstorm earlier in the evening that was actually in the district. It moved away quickly, though. 76 degrees right now here in town, 75 for Fairfax, 73 for Haymarket. And then down there to the south of us, Hughesville is down at 73 degrees right now, and Waldorf is 73. Tonight we'll drop off a little bit more. We're talking mid to upper 60s in the suburbs. Should be really, really nice. Mostly fair overnight tonight, 72 degrees. Be a little on the humid side, but hasn't been all that bad at all. 90 for a high tomorrow, so pretty much where we were today. Still stays humid, but it does look fairly dry. Maybe a spotty storm. That's it. No more than that tomorrow. Full forecast, including the holiday weekend coming up in just a bit. Marina?
All right, some of the other top stories we're following tonight. A $25,000 reward being offered by ATF to help find the people responsible for setting this fire to the St. John's Episcopal Church. Officials say the historic church on H Street near the White House was set on fire back on May 31st following protests after the death of George Floyd. The new trade agreement between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico took effect today. The USMCA provides a new incentive to build cars and trucks in North America. The agreement requires 75% of a vehicle's parts to be made in one of those three countries in order to remain free from tariffs. However, with all three countries feeling the economic impact of this pandemic, analysts say it is not clear how much of a boost can be expected. And the University of Maryland at College Park has a new president. Daryl Pines is the university's 34th president. He takes over for Wallace Lowe. You'll recall Lowe was criticized for the way he handled the death of football player Jordan McNair. Pines has been on the College Park campus for 25 years, most recently as dean of the School of Engineering.
Coming up, new coronavirus worries at the airport, what the TSA is saying about temperature checks. Plus, the scene in Richmond as a Confederate monument was taken down this afternoon. A new law let it happen. We'll explain that. But first, here's Lauren DeMarco.
Have you noticed that you're signing a lot of waivers lately, right? Businesses and organizations trying to protect themselves legally as things start to reopen during the pandemic, but are some of them going too far? We talk with some legal experts on the other side of the break.